Parkland mother and daughter letters to Santa Fe parents. Students, I want to hug you, Santa Fe. I would say welcome to the club, but the word welcome seems crude in this context. You didn't seek out this club. It's a club of random chance and happenstance. One day you woke up, expecting another mundane day. You make breakfast, pack lunches, and you likely give your child a hug and a kiss goodbye. By the end of the day, you will know that you will either never hug your child again, or if you can hug them again, you will likely never want to let them go. You will yearn for a mundane day, however, you'll likely not find one again for a good long while. This is the club that our communities are finding themselves thrust into with the spate of school shootings. As a parent of a Marjory Stoneman Douglas freshman, let me give you a guide map of the next few months, and sadly, you will likely have the opportunity to share your guide with the next set of families sooner than you think. Right now, you're in shock. This is the first step. You will carry shock around with you for several more weeks. It's a word tossed around, but nothing most people have ever felt. Shock allows you to exist on the most basic level of simply breathing. You're numb, I know. Until you're not. When you're not numb, when your brain slowly lets you process one iota of what's happened, you wish you were numb. It's agonizing and it physically hurts. Your child may have lost friends, teachers, or your friends may have lost their children. It really does not matter, because when death comes for your children, really no one is truly spared. The next few days are a wasteland and you will likely not remember much of it. The brain does have a good defense system like that. Once the fog clears for a few moments, you will gather yourself and you will attempt to comfort your children. You need to teach them how to grieve. Parents always joke we don't have a parenting manual. However, if we did, I doubt most of us would have spent much time in the how to help your child succeed in the event of a mass shooting section. More, dear Texas school shooting survivors, a Parkland teen's advice to Santa Fe students. More, flashback. Here's what it was like to watch my friends die in room 1216. Your children will be watching you though. You will need to let them see you cry, while allowing them to do so, as well. And you will need to show them that communities comes together, stands together, and try to heal together. People mean well. There is more good than bad. However, much of it may be lost on you at this time. Next stop is the funerals. Grief joins shock here and is threatening to knock you off balance. They are both so heavy. You will go to the funerals. You will pay your respects. You will take a piece of every one of those victims home with you. You will look at your child, like the day they were born, and wonder, why was mine spared that day? The next stop brings even more baggage with it. Guilt has now joined you and the load can knock you down. It likely will, but you have to get up. It will be so heavy that sometimes you can't even breathe. They don't let you forget about them for long, especially when there are reminders every single place you go. However, you will recognize that your family needs help. You can, and you will, begin the process of getting help. You will be grateful you did. Guilt is a tricky one. There is no rhyme and no reason why you may have your child and someone else does not. There is no answer, so do not try and find one. This is easier said than done, and guilt will find you whenever you enjoy a moment or milestone with your child, and hang out on the sidelines, pacing for you to notice and acknowledge it. On the next stop, it's anger that will join and cripple the already heavy load. Why? 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 Like a 3-year-old child, you will perseverate on the why and the what if. There will be no satisfaction in this. There will never be an answer that can absolve the pain. Don't get stuck here. You need a reserve to heal yourself and your family. Sadly, it's only been 3 months since a coward boy like in your case murdered our children teachers. The story doesn't ever seem to change, nor do any solutions seem to arise from it. I wish I could tell you the next stop. Had I been afforded more time in between our massacres, I could have offered you more guidance. However, I will leave you with this: some days, I feel hope. I feel hope that my daughter will grow up and have a regular high school experience. I feel hope that this wasn't her defining moment. I feel hope when I see students standing up for change. I feel hope that good will outweigh evil, and that there is more good than bad in the world. I know hope is out there. It's elusive, but I want to grab onto it and hold it. I know you will. Let yourself. You will need it for the next set of children. Sincerely, Kim Singer, mother of Parkland shooting survivor Ella Singer. 3 months and 4 days before your friends and teachers were murdered at school, mine were also murdered. I am one of those people who never thought it would happen at my school. I was lucky, without knowing how lucky I was. Maybe you did know it could happen, because what we know now is that it can happen anywhere. It was your turn for something you never signed up for. When it happened, I had no idea what was going on. I had just eaten lunch with my friends and was in study hall catching up on my work. That was the before. The before was when I had nothing more on my mind than finishing my work and celebrating Valentine's Day with my family. In 6 minutes or so, the before became the after. I stayed in a room with my teacher and classmates for hours until SWAT came. I was in shock and disbelief. I bet you were as well. When you sat in your closet, or when you ran for your life, or when you were in the room where your shooter came, I imagine you were as scared as I was. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I tried desperately to reach my friends, spread all over the school. It will haunt me forever why I couldn't reach them all. More, my dad died in a mass shooting and now the Florida shooting killed my friend Moore, Navy vet on Vegas shooting. We need gun laws that make us as safe as our military. It's been a few days since your shooting. I'm sorry for your losses. Even if it's not someone you were close with, they are all people you likely knew. You saw them in the halls, in classes, or they are friends of friends. They were kids just like you. Except you have a chance to live your life, while they were cheated out of theirs. In the next few days, you will be in shock. You will need to rely on your family and your friends. They are also broken, but being broken together is more helpful than being broken alone. In the weeks after our shooting, we had an outpouring of love from the world. I fear you will not. I fear your shooting is just another shooting. I don't want your friends and teachers to be forgotten. I don't want you to be forgotten simply because our country has accepted children being murdered at school as a natural consequence of lax laws and legislation. I don't want you to forget my friends, my classmates and my teachers. Let's make a deal to not forget each other's victims, even when the rest of the country has moved on. In the next few weeks, your life will continue to change. Is there an empty space at your lunch table? Those empty spaces won't be filled. The country will move on to the next school shooting, but for you, the empty space will remain an empty space. I am 15 years old, and I am so angry I sit alongside empty spaces where my friends should be. You will be angry as well. Take that anger, sadness, and grief and try and do something positive with it. For me, my family and I have been involved in several charity projects. My mother is always saying, doing good makes you feel good. I usually roll my eyes, but I hate to admit she is right. Doing something good will always outweigh the bad thing that happened. Your community will also change. There will be a lot of opinions and outrage. So much outrage. Why did this happen? And what could have prevented it? Are common refrains, and blame will be tossed around and cast at many. Don't be a bystander. When someone comes to your school to kill you, you are no longer a bystander, you have a voice. Use it. The outrage won't take you back to the before, but if it keeps your community and the collective consciousness of a society immune to gun violence, then it's a useful tool. I want to hug you, Santa Fe. I don't want to send you a tweet or a graphic illustrating our support. I want to wrap my arms around you like the country wrapped their arms around us. I want to tell you that you will hurt for a long time. You are now part of a not-so-exclusive club anymore. A few states away, there are a group of high schoolers just like you. Parkland and Santa Fe now have a bond that we never wanted, and while we are still grieving, we invite you to join us. We have to walk side by side to honor the hundreds of children murdered at school. We can't let them be forgotten. Our government has made it clear we are a disposable commodity. That may seem crude or negative, however, I don't see what effective changes have been made since Columbine and Sandy Hook. I refuse to accept that I'm disposable. I will not accept that my friends, and yours, are happenstance victims of so much failure in our country. I hope you do as well. Let's do it together. Hugs, Ella Singer, Marjory Stoneman Douglas, Class of 2021. To join the conversations about topics on USA Today, email letters@usetoday.com, comment on Facebook, or use #USAToday on Twitter.